who taught the sun where to stand in the morning, who told the ocean you can only come this far, and who showed the moon where to hide till evening, whose words can catch a falling star. I know my Redeemer lives. I know my Redeemer lives. All creation testifies, this life within me cries. I know my Redeemer lives. The very same God that spins things into orbit, runs to the weary, the worn and the weak, and the same gentle hands that hold me when I'm broken. They've conquered death and brought me victory. Now I know my Redeemer lives. I know my Redeemer lives. All creation testifies, this life within me cries. I know that my Redeemer take away my shame. My Redeemer lives, forever I'll proclaim. Payment for my sin was the precious life given, but now he's alive, there's an empty grave. I know my Redeemer lives. I know my Redeemer lives. Let all creation testify, let life within me cry. I know my Redeemer lives. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of 2911, A Faith Experience. I'm Brian Christopher Clay. I'm glad you're here. Just want to give a quick shout out to my son, Thomas. I'm repping him today. Got my Morehead State University gear on. Thomas, my son, is a student at Morehead State in Kentucky. Starting wide receiver on the football team, too. So their football conference moved their fall season to spring due to COVID. So it's football season for me. Actually, it's football season for him. But this past Saturday, they had a great game. They got the win. He racked up 100 yards receiving and a touchdown, and he was straight balling. Look at that. See? You see what I'm talking about? He was straight balling. So, shout out to T. If his mother and I are in the stands for a game, right before the kickoff, he always turns and finds us, and he gives his mom a heart, boom, and he gives me a pound, boom. So just giving you a pound, man. What up, T? All right, so let's dive into 29:11 for today. I'm looking at the book of Romans, the 8th chapter, the 28th verse. It says, "We know that in all things God works for the good of those who love God, who are called according to God's purpose." My wife makes an amazing pot roast. I know I talk about food all the time, but here we go again. Pot roast. She absolutely makes an amazing pot roast. She takes the beef and puts it in a crock pot with all the vegetables, the potatoes and the carrots and the onions, and she puts them in this slow cooking process. I mean, she lets it go for hours and hours. The aroma fills the house. I can't wait for the first bite. It's always amazing. Hint to my wife, pot roast. And sometimes towards the end, and she doesn't know this, yeah, she probably knows this, I'll grab a fork and I'll reach in just for a bite. And it's wonderful. I mean, it's always great. But it's always best for me to wait for all those hours and all those hours for the slow cooker to bring all those tastes and all those ingredients together, because separately, they just aren't as good sometimes. Just the carrots by themselves, or the potatoes by themselves, okay, maybe. Or some of the spices, some of the seasonings alone, they might be okay. Some would actually probably not be good. They'd be bad just by themselves. But all together. Now, when Paul used the phrase in this scripture, works together, he was talking about how all the things we experience in our lives actually connect one with another. Everything is connected, the good and the bad. The high moments, right alongside the low moments. The moments that we thrive, right along with the moments that we suffer. And in Romans, in the translation, Paul used a word where we get our word synergy. Synergy. Here's the definition of synergy. The interaction or cooperation of two or more things, get this, to produce a combined effect greater than the sum of their separate effects. Yeah, let me repeat. The interaction or cooperation of two or more things that produce a combined effect greater than the sum of their separate effects. And the scripture, we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him and are called according to God's purpose in all things. You see, Paul wanted the Romans to know then, and he wanted us to know now, that God, who didn't cause their suffering and who doesn't cause our suffering, would call all the circumstances, even if it was some suffering in there, to cooperate with God's divine plan, and ultimately for our good. And get this, because this is important, not that good, the temporary good, the temporal blessings of health and wealth and admiration and success. And those things are wonderful, those things are amazing, but God's idea of our good is that we be transformed into the image of God's Son and doing the work in the world that God has planned for us, as God's Son did. That work I always talk about. That's the work that this 29:11 thing is all about. And that work isn't even work, because it's simply utilizing the gifts that God has placed in all of us to make the world better for somebody, to share and spread God's love with somebody. In Romans, we're reminded that God's desire for us through all that is our lives is good. We're reminded again in Jeremiah 29:11 that God's plan for us is for our good and for the good of the world. Yeah, I wasn't planning on being here that long before you today, so that's all I got. But that's all we need today. That God works together. All the things in our lives, he pulls them together for our good. The times of amazing celebration and joy. the times of lament, the times of suffering and sadness, he pulls it all together and makes it for our good. Hope that blessed you today, and I hope this will too.
Spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so good to me. Yeah. Before I took a breath, you breathed life in me. Yeah. You have been so kind to me.
When I was your fool, still your love was for me. You've been so good to me. When I found no words, you paid it all for me. You've been so kind to me.
And what you overwhelming, never ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, far still I'm found, leaves the 99. Oh, I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. And what you overwhelming, never ending, reckless love of God. There's no mountain you would climb up, shadow you would light up, coming after me. No walls you would break down, lies you would tear down, coming after me. No mountain you would climb up, shadow you would light up, coming after me. No walls you would break down,
Lies you want to down, coming up to me.
when hungry, you fed me. When thirsty, you gave me water.
The Lord is my shepherd.
I shall not want. Yeah. Say, you found me and gave me brand new life. You found me and turned my life around. Yeah. You found Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there you have it, my 2911 cohorts. I appreciate you being here with me. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe on social media platforms. You're searching for 2911, a faith experience, okay? Like, follow, share here on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and the new content, you'll always be right there at it. Tell somebody about it, okay? I think it might be a blessing for somebody, and you will be blessing them with this share. And as I always do, I leave you with the words of Maya Angelou. People may forget what you say, people may forget what you do, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. So let's make somebody feel God's love